neighborhood, as they say. We have a great day because yesterday we listed 127 homes. We have a 26.7 almost a month of inventory, so that's good. We put 90 under contract and 66 closings. 35 of the listings were under 400,000, so that's good. We have a total of 828 listings under 400,000. That's good. And of course, the $1 million homes are still selling at 4 a day. We've sold 1,201 so far this year, and that includes, and it does include high rises because that's sold over $1 million, and condos and townhomes. So that's all lumped in there. Those we don't separate. It doesn't make a big difference. They're over $1 million. That's the category. And let's see, Zillow's president was on NBC, and she had a rebuttal to Sean Gotcher's TikTok that went viral. And of course, she's saying that she's not really saying anything, in my opinion. I'm going to post, I don't think we're going to have time today to watch it. I do have it, though, to share with you on the group. She's basically saying that what Sean said isn't true, that they don't price fix, that they feel they're offering a great service to the home buyers that want to get out of the home sellers that want to get out of their homes quickly. And they do offer market value. And they went into a little bit of detail about what is market value. Market value is what the buyer is willing to pay. And one of the things in the video said that it's not about what it'll appraise for. And I thought, oh my gosh, that is so erroneous. It is about what it appraises for. And I don't know who she's talking to. She's probably in California, right? But Vegas, we're all about that. And I'm happy to say, I'll say it again, that our median price on single family homes went down to $403,000. And that gives more opportunities for more people to buy homes. The interest rates are still low. We still have that same song we can continue to sing until it changes. And hopefully everybody is getting their farms together and communicating with their farms, letting people know what's going on in their neighborhoods. So with that being said, I want to get on with a tip. We have 2 tips today, actually. One was a little short, so we're going to do 2 tips. One's on gifts, and the other one is on investors. And if you would pay particular attention to the investor one, it has a little bit more strategy. The gifts are pretty straightforward, but the strategies revolving the investors, I think you should listen to. One other comment. I clipped the email section out of yesterday's video and posted it in the group for people. If it's like, I think 10 minutes, maybe max 8 minutes. There's a lot in that video. And so I posted it separate from me. So you can just go in there and maybe write down some notes, because there's some very, very strategic things about email that you should be doing or think about doing. And I thought it was excellent. In fact, I'll probably integrate that into my class we're doing Buffini, and I will probably integrate that into the Buffini class in the next couple weeks. We're doing one every Thursday from 10 to noon for 14 weeks, 100 Days to Greatness. So anyway, let's get started today with the tips. And I will go and share my screen. Always get nervous Nelly here. Here it is. Show this here. Get rid of this. I need to do a class on this, don't I? Teach everybody how to do this. Oh, it's fun. Okay, I'm going to go over here, do a sound check. I appreciate everybody watching me, and I know that you don't all watch me live. You go back and watch me later. I would appreciate some likes or some comments or something, some engagement. So it would help me, help my motivation, right? help my motivation. Ruthie. I love Facebook now. Everything went away. Let's see. Come on. There we go. Okay, so now it says I'm not a member of the group when I am a member of the group. Oh boy. Who knows? Let me go back here. It has me. There we go. Okay, well, Facebook. This is not who I am. It has me as somebody else. I don't know why. Somebody must have been messing with my, okay, let's just go. I'll just roll it and then I'll make sure that it's working. Okay, let's go on with the show.
Into the microphone.
Five Bullet Fridays.
By the end of this podcast, I'm going to have the two of you talking into a microphone.
There's like some strings that you can pull from under the table.
Here's the difference. You guys get to stay at 1. We're back.
Oh, okay.
Would you like to train again? Oh, we can't get that out.
Oh, we went right to Van Halen. Okay, so you got another one. Let's go.
Everyone loves gifts, right?
Yep.
All business based on relationships. We're talking about that inside of our planning session for Summit. I have multiple clients that right now have identified their top 50 to 100 clients. Typically, it's about 50 because that's a manageable number in terms of both if I'm going to drop gifts off and also a cost basis as well too. And when I say gifts, you don't have to think something huge. You know, hundreds of dollars. It could just be, I've got poinsettias that get dropped off by Ed and Marcos Varga around the holiday time.
Yep.
And, like they continue just from that one drop off to be able to actually get, 4, 5, 6 listings and buy and sells. Marissa Perez, who does it inside of her farm for all the people that she's actually sold. And she does it about once a quarter where she's dropping off at Easter. She put together this super cute little Easter basket because, Easter, is most of her, where she is, celebrate Easter, and she just dropped that off. Branded inside of it. Hey, I'm just dropping this off for you. Now, if you don't want to do it yourself, these individuals actually take the time to do it themselves. I love Client Giant. There's a lot of my clients that are using Client Giant.
Big shout out to Client Giant in Orange County.
Big shout out to Client Giant and Greg Cummings, who actually turned me on to them. Yeah, and he, we ran the test, and I said, okay. He's like, I'm doing this new thing, and I went, okay, let me run the test. We're gonna beta this, and sure enough, he did it for 30 people, and then he came back and he got 4 referrals that ended up within the course of the first 90 days to 4 months, and he more importantly got people
down in San Diego.
Down in San Diego.
Average sales price.
His sales price probably $1.1
okay, so he's
million.
working the low end.
Yeah, so he's there in Mission Beach. So.
I'm being facetious though. Yeah. No, 4 referrals for. Okay, so who did this also was John and Lauren Grauman, right? Who were Beverly Hills. He did a $78 million deal last year. He's done multiple 26, super luxury agent. We're talking about the post John Rulin podcast I did with Giftology.
Got it.
And he's like, I heard that, and he's like, I bought 100 of my top clients the Tony Robbins first financial mastery book, and just handwritten note, mailed it to all of them. People were completely blown away by it. And he's like, I work with all these super luxury people. You would think that they read it, they've been exposed to it, and they're like, we found so much value in that. And it was just one more way to stay top of mind in an uber competitive environment.
Absolutely.
I didn't ask him how many transactions came from it, but he's like, he was so excited just to say the response I got from my customers was so strong. He's like, now I'm just trying to think out what's the next book.
Yeah.
Right?
Destry.
Low cost.
Destry Johnson.
Of course. I've known Destry
for
forever.
years. Yeah.
Right. Big shout out to Destry.
Destry, motorcycle guy. Right.
I
said, we were talking about, because he's been sending things out to his clients on a regular basis. And I said, switch over, try this. Right.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, man. And he looked at it, he goes, they're sending out herb seeds, and what is this? I'm not going to send this. I'm going to send
ball bearings in Greece.
Right? I remember he was like, I go, bro, just test it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, always be testing.
Always.
And he sent it out, and he called me. We came to one of the coaching calls. He's like, okay. I'm like, what? He goes, I had 7 people call me and say thank you. I'm like, yeah? He goes, and they were all dudes.
That's great.
Good for you, man.
Good.
Right? So just think creatively, right?
Yeah.
And give, right? Give, because I think about got me something, you got me something, you got me something, I've given you something. You know, like we've gone back and
Yes.
forth.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So,
Yeah, I haven't either,
right.
I'll give you a
Bill.
silver
I've never.
bar.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to help you with the microphone, Jeff. What's the next idea?
I'm
We're on
going to
number-
hijack on giving gifts.
No. We already got gifts. Go to the next one.
All right. How about this?
Okay, hold on. I want to just remind people that are like listening to the all of us ham bones here that these guys are all coaching highly successful men and women, individual agents and teams from all over the U.S., high-end prices, low-end prices, everything under the sun. And all we're talking about is like stuff that we see that's working right now.
This works.
What's next?
You know, Long Beach, California, Andy Dane Carter.
Big time.
He's
ADC.
crushing. He's crushing it on investors and non-owner occupieds. He's mailing like crazy. What he's saying is, remember when it was a good idea to be an investor, like in the postcard, in the mailers,
Yes.
and then he's following up with phone calls.
Yes.
He did $10 million in 1 month in August.
Okay, Jeff.
From-
I'm gonna have to have you say the whole thing over again. So when I move the microphone closer to your
Right.
mouth, it doesn't mean move away from it.
I'm like, that's a little too close. Guys. That's a little.
No,
too
it's actually
close.
just. It's really
Really?
great if you're super close to it.
Gotcha.
Okay. All right. So one more time. Big shout out to Andy Dane Carter. Known him forever.
Long Beach
So-
investors,
So he's working with investors.
non-owner occupieds, mailing, and then following up with a phone call. As basic as that is, he's making at least 10 calls a day, and it's turning into. He did $10 million in closed volume in August alone.
Okay. So give us context for what is he so non-owner occupieds for everyone listening right now. If you haven't gone into Remine or whatever data mining solution you have in your local marketplace through your MLS to say who owns all the investment properties in my
Exactly.
market, right? Listen, investors do not look at like, if you called me and said, hey, Tom, would you like to sell your place in Dallas? I'd be like, I just moved here and my,
Right,
you know, it's
right.
like it's home, right? But if you call me and say, I got an offer for you right now for one of your duplexes you're on, I'm like, talk to me.
That's what he's talking
Right?
about.
Because it's a transaction
It's
for me.
to-
I'm going
it's
to 1031
totally-
exchange
it's
to
not-
something
they're
else.
not emotional about this.
Exactly.
It's just a number.
Yep.
And I think the key is just getting them on the phone and staying in touch with them.
Right. So what does he say in the initial call? What does he mail to them? And then what does he say in the initial call?
He's mailing like, I've got a buyer in your neighborhood. We've seen that
Right.
before.
Sure.
I've got a buyer.
Yep.
Call me. Here's what also is working is text me even if you're not interested. Now, why do they do that?
Yeah.
Because they just
That's like
agreed-
Robert Cialdini 101, right?
Right.
I love it. Big
Reverse,
shout out to
so
Bob
that
Cialdini.
just says they can stay in contact with them.
Right.
And so then even those that reply, say, I'm not interested, he's still going to send them out a CMA.
Yep.
And he's still going to follow up with a phone call because they reached out to him.
All right. So he mails them a little, cheat sheet on here's the value of that property. You've got it 124 Banana Street. I've got a buyer. You can't talk about the buyer, right?
Right.
But you can still say, I'm representing a buyer.
Yep.
They want to live in this neighborhood, blah, 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 blah. Can you even say they want to live in this neighborhood?
I don't know.
I need fact check on
I've got a
attorneys here
qualified
real
buyer
fast.
looking
I got
in
a
the
qualified
area.
buyer looking in
Looking
the
in the
area,
area, right.
and they want to buy a property, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And then he's calling.
He's
How often
calling?
is he calling?
He's probably, he's going to talk to them at least 2 or 3 times in a year.
Okay.
Investors. So
Okay.
he's got a target list that he's going after. He's relentless. He's not going to give up. They're starting to say things like, I got your mailer. I see you everywhere.
Right.
I get your postcards. Those things add up. So he's totally focused on the non-owner investor.
Why do you? Okay, so in the U.S., if you've got 138 million homes ish, right, and that number hopefully is going to continue to grow, and there's now 22 million properties that are investors.
Right.
So fun fact: 80% of the properties that are owned by people like us.
Right. They just own 1 or 2 properties.
One or
That's
two
it.
properties.
Right.
It's actually the institutional investor starts at 10 units or more.
Right.
Right. So if you own 10 units or more,
Right.
you're deemed an institutional investor, and there's a chunk of them, but there's a much bigger chunk at 30, 40, 50, 80, 100, 200, 1,000, et cetera. Why in the world are agents not working these sources?
Makes no sense.
I mean, it just it just doesn't make sense to me.
Some of those homeowners are like blended families, and they're like, I don't want to sell the house. Let's just rent it out.
Right.
And then you're taking advantage. Look, we know there's a lot of changes in the Airbnb rules
Right.
and laws out
Right.
there. He's
Right.
targeting them. We know that it's not been great to be a landlord in this type of market with everything going on.
Sure.
He's just reaching out to them to see, like you say, raising hands, seeing if they're interested in talking a little further, or let me take a look at your property and see what it's worth.
Okay.
Start a conversation.
Let me piggyback.
Yeah.
Let me piggyback on this.
Thank you.
Right. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to use Destry as an example.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I think one of the more prohibitive parts of any type of non-owner occupied or investor strategy is if you're going to treat it like a demographic farm, which it is, right?
It is.
To be able to market and mail 2 times, because I can use Marietta and Temecula and that surrounding area where Destry is, there's over 6,000 non-owner occupieds.
Right.
To actually mail to that 2 times per month is
That's expensive.
completely cost prohibitive, and the return just isn't quite there.
Yeah.
And then you're going to be 18 months if you start it off before you get a huge return on it, as we've seen in a farm. So we were able.
But hold on, I would take that list and I would carve it up to the 500 that are 10 years or older.
Yeah, but wait.
Right, I've already depreciated the asset. Right, I'm more inclined to 1031 exchange, just as an example.
Yeah, there's a way to actually lean back into email marketing that works, because if you utilize Vulcan gives you a chance, Vulcan 7, and there's other sources that do this as well too, that every single month you can pull in an area and actually set it up for non-owner occupieds, like 1,000 email addresses that they have scrubbed, and it's you have the ability to be able to market to that are the non-owner occupied. So it took us 6 months with Destry to be able to get that entire list, but now we're emailing 2 times per month to that list, right? While he's still calling. That's the key. I mean, he's got the numbers, and he's loading them up, and he's calling them. It doesn't work at the level that you need to and that you want it to get the return that you want if you're not picking up the phone and making the calls. Like he's flat out said that. But now what's happening is he's sending his Destry's top 5 picks at the beginning of the month. And those top 5 picks are properties that are investment properties that are coming to market. Now, what's happened is those properties are gone. Right? Yeah. However, it piques the curiosity. Of course. Right? Has them call, hey, but that's not available. What it sell for? Right? Because like he's in California. A lot of people are acquiring the non-occupieds. They're liquidating and moving a lot of that capital outside of the state, or buying, or cashing out at this point. So we market 2 times per month via email. He calls 1 time per quarter through that entire list. Right. So far, year to date, he's got 8. Like this was as of last month. He's got 8 transactions that have come specifically just from non-owner occupieds, with an average sales price probably about 800 to 900,000 where he is right now.
You know what I love about this for the person that's listening? It's not that I'm like super hot, or any one of us are like hot on like this is the idea. When we started this company 18 years ago, the general thesis that I had, I remember like sitting with all my top clients. I'm at Shady Canyon. I got Stephen Christie, Maxine Gellens, Carol Garrett, like just all these unbelievable agents. And I'm looking around the room and I'm like, she does a lot of direct mail. He does geographic farming. She does a ton of open houses. This one only works this. This one does this. And like, but then this one also does this, and this one does this. And I'm like, wait a minute. They all do like 8 different things to generate clients. And one that generates 8 in 8 months at an average sales price of 800,000. 8 times 8. That still sounds like right, a pretty big number if it's one source. And then you have your database. Then you have your Google My Business page. Then you do tequila and tacos. Yeah, that's the game, my friends. That's the game.
For most people that are listening right now, 1 deal a month changes fundamentally the quality and the caliber of the life that you're living. Yep. So don't get caught up in these huge numbers of 100 transactions, 200, 1,000. Look at it and say, if I just grab this one thing that Jason was talking about, and what Jeff was talking about, what Tom Pipes was talking about, and I just begin to actually and I dive deep. You guys have so much that's coming in right now for you guys. Yeah. Pick one and dive deep on that, right? And really focus on that for 30, 45, 60 days. Get that up and operational, because I'm of the mindset of I'd rather be a specialist in the short term and be able to go deep and go wide. That's what I've seen with every single person that I've coached that has actually achieved great successes. They didn't try to be a generalist. They got a specialist in. And when I say specialist, it doesn't mean that their business is just based upon one area. It means that for a short period of time, they focused on one thing to be able to actually expand their business, while the rest of their normal was running in the background as well too.
Love it. Jason, what do you got next?
So I'd like to. So my next one piggybacks perfectly, I think, off of Andy Day and Carter, what you were talking about. So you added email. And you said that Andy is doing postcards, calls, and what other channels is he using?
Text.
Was it text?
Text. No, he.
Okay, I hope I'm back. I hope I hid that. I hope there's no reverberation. So lots of things going on there. Wow, what a fantastic tip the last tip is. I can't tell you, let's see, where to begin. Gifts. One of the gifts Love the info. Yeah, I know. It's fantastic. The gift for the first financial mastery book by that Tony Robbins recommended, I'm going to look into that because I think that's a fantastic gift to give people depending on your market. I'm going to kind of do a look at the book and see what market it would be best for. I think the investor market, because when you go into the next tip, which was the investors, which I think there's so much you can do with that idea. And here's something that he said that you need to think about. What would one deal a month do to your lifestyle? I mean, that's about $108,000 a year, $9,000 a month. What would that do to your lifestyle? If you just go deep on one of these ideas at a time, and I'm here to tell you that John's buyer's agent, Tracy, is doing that. She's now understands Vulcan 7. She had they're excellent at their customer service. She gets it. Out of 240 addresses, they were able to get her 146. I may be a little bit off of my numbers, but almost half with phone numbers and email addresses. Okay, so if in her whole farm, I think her farm has 1,100 people in it, if she gets 500 email addresses and she starts going deep with that idea and getting that rolling, then next month, listen to this, she can go to an area in California, right? And she can look at non-owner occupied homes and possibly she can start emailing them. I'm just throwing this out here because I thought of it when Bob was talking. She can possibly send them an email and give them the top 5 picks in Las Vegas if they want to buy another investment property. Our homes are inexpensive, and I ran some numbers this morning. I will tell you that the average return is between 6 and 8%. That's not bad. And I think 6%, I say, because if it's a condo, you got the condo, you got the HOAs. But if it's a single family home and you find, you can search for where the HOA isn't so high, which makes the return on the investment bigger percentage wise for the investor. And then you send those to, out in an email, and you do that once a month. And all of a sudden, like he was saying, you start getting a deal a month out of it. Now, it doesn't happen overnight. And that's the biggest problem agents have. And in my history with agents, if it doesn't work right away, you want to try something else. And then you throw more money at the wall and hope it sticks. Well, it's a little bit more complicated than that. And that's why so many people don't make as much money as they could in this business. It's that simple. I was thinking there's 1.5 million agents in the country. That video only got 9,000 plus views. That's hardly any in the scheme of things. And that's why I'm bringing it to you. And I was thinking about it. Well, y'all could go out and watch this yourself, but you might not. And then it's a lot to digest if you just sit there and listen to the whole thing, because I've tried that. And that's why I came up with the idea to just piece it up into 1 or 2 tips a day. You've already segmented, put me on your schedule to watch my videos. So you're getting 1 or 2 good tips a day from 3 of the best coaches in the country that Tom Ferry has on his team. And I just think that it's priceless information for you. Go deep on one of these tips. Maybe right now you don't want to invest in Vulcan. Vulcan is a fantastic source, though, I will tell you, because it scrubs for emails and phone numbers. And this is why I like the phone number idea. The next tip is going to be about texting. Okay. That's the last thing you heard at the end of the video. So if I have somebody's phone number, I can text them. And if I use a service, there's services out there, right, that you can use that are compliant, because compliance means that you have to allow the viewer or the receiver, to opt out, to say stop. If you're getting a text without the first text saying, hit stop if you don't want to receive my updates on my CE classes, and you have to give them that option the first time that you send out that email. Or you might say that's kind of what I say. So you might say, please hit stop if you don't want to receive the top 5 picks of the month for investing in Las Vegas. Who's going to hit stop? They want those. So what you say with your message is very important. So you want them to want your text, and that's engagement. Now you're really engaging with people. And it's like, I tell John and Tracy, I say, we don't need 1,000 people. You just need another deal a month to start. And then maybe next 10 months, 12 months, we'll get another extra deal a month. And all of a sudden, you're making $215,000 a year. Come to Buffini today. We're going to dig deeper into most of these things to give you strategies. You can Zoom in. You can still go in and sign up. You won't get your materials probably for another few days, but that's okay. The first day, you don't really need the materials. Hope to see you all there. I love you all. Can't wait till tomorrow, and we'll see what tomorrow brings. I think the market's going to stay strong. And have a great Thursday. Oh my gosh, tomorrow's Friday. That means only 3 more days in the work week. Hopefully you take